Welcome back! Last time we traveled into Venice to find out more about the mysterious stranger Mr. Ratchet was supposed to meet. But uh-oh, this did not go exactly as planned. So now we have another victim and we need to find out what's going on and who of our suspects on the train is behind all of this. Luckily, Poirot decided to team up with Joanna because two minds apparently do know more than one, even if you have the sharpest mind to have ever existed. Just to be humble, of course, like Poirot would say. Still in Venice, though. My sound is gone. Oh, it's supposed to do that, apparently. Back on the train with Monsieur Book.
Here you are at last. I was worried about you.
We just left the police station. We had to explain to the Italian police that we were not murderers.
What? Another murder?
I'll tell you when we're underway. Are all passengers and staff aboard?
Yes, everyone is here. We were waiting for you.
Excellent.
Nice.
Let's not waste any more time. We have to make a longer than usual stop in Lausanne.
What? How long?
Long enough to do a little banking in Geneva.
Explaining nothing to Book. So I thought we wouldn't go back on the train since the murder was done, but I guess we do.
But this is madness. A 13th murderer of Ratchet?
Oh, he does
Mon
explain it.
ami, he was not well liked.
But
That's
Monsieur
true.
Michel would have seen anyone enter Ratchet's compartment. And there were another 10 people milling about, taking their turn at stabbing him. How could they not notice an uninvited killer?
Why did Mr. Michel see the murderer? I just wanted to say that thing he said about him being a fetishist, that doesn't make sense to me because he seems like the kind of person who killed people who were in the way or didn't need anymore, very practical. And a fetishist is more someone, I don't know how to say it. They have different motives for doing stuff like that. So it doesn't make sense to me. Sorry, it doesn't. False testimony, smoked. He did smoke.
The 13th killer could have acted when Michel was smoking on the platform at Vinkovsky. But even after the train departed, Michel was absent from his post at the end of the corridor several times the night of the murder. I must know where he really was and when.
Is the murder still on the train? I want to say no because we saw him running around. But he could be. I mean, how else are we gonna catch him? Is it maybe the doctor? Let's say yes.
Yes, he most certainly returned to the train.
How can you be sure?
It's obvious. I mean, I hope Mr. Poirot agrees.
Please continue, Detective Locke.
It isn't obvious to me. He ran in the direction of the Venezia railway station. His best ticket out of Italy is aboard the train. There's no one missing on the train. He ran in direction of the railway station, did he? His best ticket out of Italy is aboard the train. Oh, I thought I read that totally wrong. I thought she meant he has a ticket for the train, but she means it's the best way to get out of Italy. Maybe this?
The train is French. The murder took place in Slovenia and the victim's body is in Italy. Jurisdiction won't be sorted out before the train reaches Paris. The murderer is probably content to sit tight aboard the train until Paris where he can disappear.
It is undoubtedly a possibility, but we have no proof.
Oh, that's wrong. There's no one missing on the train. That's true.
All the passengers and crew are still aboard. If the killer of Mr. Wadi had remained in Venice, we would have noticed right away that someone was missing, and we could have alerted the authorities.
I promise you, I made certain everyone was aboard before we embarked.
Book, calm yourself.
Calm myself? But we're back where we started.
Not
There is
really.
still another murderer on my train.
My train.
Wait a moment. Can I change my mind about my verdict? Can we turn everyone over to the police?
Everyone? Including ourselves?
What? No. No. Oh, it's a nightmare.
Let us take it step by step, my friend. We can start by eliminating all of the members of the Ratchet jury.
That's true. Who are the 12 people who were both Ratchet's jury and executioners? You. You and you. No, you are not. Is this 12? I think this is it. I did it right in one go.
My little gray cells did not let me down.
Nor me.
If we eliminate the 12 jurors, we are left with 7 additional suspects.
That's a lot.
7? It's still too many.
I
Including you.
agree. We must reduce our list.
Excuse my impatience, Poirot. It's as if my beautiful train is cursed. Can you exonerate any of the 7?
Is Book a suspect? I want to say no, but I don't know. Officially, he can be.
Right.
Oh, it is right.
Book worked hard to get me aboard the train. He is definitely not a suspect.
Oh, right, that was the reason. So she's also no.
Adequate. Mademoiselle Locke cannot be a suspect. She pursued Mr. Waddy's murderer.
Is Dr. Constantine a suspect? Oh, I don't know. Is he? Why wasn't he in the first place? Because why? He wasn't before. I think it's maybe one of the staff.
Nice. Dr. Constantine alerted me to the
that's true.
13th stab wound. He is not a suspect.
That's
My
true.
little gray cells did not let me down.
I forgot about that.
I have 4 suspects left who I must now examine more closely. Miss Nielsen, Monsieur Maury, Monsieur Fauché, and Countess Andrény.
One of my employees? Suspicious?
For
All
sure.
3 got off the train in Venice to restock supplies. Any one of them might have slipped away without being noticed.
I suppose. But what of Countess Andrény? You cleared her yourself.
She
true.
is cleared of the first murder, but we know little of her movements here in Venice, so we still have 4 suspects to interview. Detective Locke?
I can't join you, Poirot. My chief saw something on the news about the case and my involvement. He's
Uh-oh.
demanding an explanation. If I want to keep my badge, I have to call him.
You go do that
Then
then.
you must do so by all means.
I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. I understand.
I'll make the call for my compartment. If you're looking for me, I'll be there.
Fine by me. I like being Poirot
I
anyway.
hate to say this, Poirot, but I must. There is, of course, one other suspect with a motive for murder. The ransom money.
You mean Detective Locke? Then who did she chase? Who killed Aziz? We both saw the masked murderer standing over the body.
True that. Could not have been. So I have to interrogate all these people probably. Let me see. Miss Nielsen, Voucher, Maury, Countess Andrény, and Michelle. But what I don't understand is he says Countess Andrény could have easily ran across the station to kill in Vienna, but then everybody else could have done that too. Why, if they murdered in the first place, they won't do it again? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. Alright, so I have to interrogate all those people, and somehow I'm back in my own room. And also again I have to check for mustaches, do I not? 2. That's not that many. So we are, I'm zooming in on this. We are in first class. Where is everyone? Mr. Michelle's right here. I can go in here, but why? Who's here? Oh, the Countess, of course. Everybody's here. Why is she laying like that? Still look at everything. But I've already opened it, so don't know why I can look at it. And the book. Also seen that already. take a shower maybe. A mustache.
Haha! Golden mustache.
It's the first one. Why is the doctor here? Is there something wrong with her?
Doctor, I need to question Countess Andrény.
I'm afraid that won't be possible, Mr.
I
Poirot.
thought
The
so.
Countess had an anxiety attack when we arrived in Venice. She was
Suspicious.
terrified the police would come for her and her husband, despite how you concluded your investigation. I had to give her a sedative. She has been sleeping since.
You have stayed with her all the time we were in Venice?
Count Andrény begged me to watch over her. I have not left this room.
So she's innocent.
You're the reason she's in this state.
Book voted to absolve you all. I accepted his verdict.
I told her. I tried to reason with her. What she has already suffered, the strain of these last few days, it was too much.
I understand, Count. It's quite all right. I have the answers I came for.
Yep, I can cross her off. So she's innocent? I also figured it would be one of the staff. That would make way more sense. Let's speak with you.
Ah, Michel, I have a few more questions to ask you, if you will allow me.
Anything, Monsieur Poirot. We are in your debt.
That you are. What did you do in Venice? Timeline of Ratchet's murder. I need to know both.
Let us review the actual timeline of the night of Ratchet's murder, not the one manufactured to hide your crime.
I left the train in Minkowski for a smoke. Then I resumed my post. That was the truth. The train departed on schedule. But then, of course, an avalanche of snow blocked the tracks. At 12:45, Madame Hubbard and I met in her compartment to discuss how to adapt our plan.
Due to the snow and Poirot.
The little play we had staged for you had to be rewritten. I left her compartment at approximately 1:15.
Then the curtain went up. Calls in the night, the red kimono, all for my benefit.
And all for nothing, as it turned out.
Do not
did.
blame yourself, Michel. I am the theater critic no playwright wants to see in the audience.
I knew he was gonna say something super arrogant. The great Hercule, can never be fooled.
Please tell me your movements when we were stopped at Venice Station.
Once the compartments were cleaned and the linen refreshed, I stayed in my quarters.
Did you notice anything special? Comings and goings?
Monsieur Bouc had asked everyone to stay in their compartments. I would occasionally walk the train to ensure everyone was comfortable. Oh, I saw Monsieur Maury was all alone loading his crates of provisions. A great chef like that, reduced to petty labor, I would have helped him. But Monsieur Bouc had ordered me not to leave the train for any reason. So, Monsieur Maury was forced to labor alone.
To be honest, I've always suspected that. Why is he Japanese or something? I don't know what he is. He's very arrogant. So do I need to take a look at the supplies? Because that's what he was doing. That's all the way back though. And I also need to speak to the other staff. And they are probably... Oh, he's playing the piano. I want to say over here.
You play well. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Thank
You
you.
did.
Many years of piano lessons thanks to my mother. I try to play in a few clubs in Paris when I get the chance, but as you can see, it hasn't made me rich. What can I do for you?
Conversation only.
He did help me though. See your knives? Let's start with this.
Tell me again about your poker game the night of the murder.
It's a regular game to help relax after a long day. Let's see, we started around 11 p.m. We took a short break in Minkowski, Hotaru, Pierre and I. The game finished up around 2 a.m. We'd all had quite a bit to drink. Ah, yes, I left for about 10 minutes to refrigerate champagne for the next day. That must have been around 1 a.m.
That's why they didn't mention the woman. He said Pierre, so that's Pierre, Michel, Hotaru, and I. That's what he said. So she didn't play poker with them then?
Tell me about your time in Venice.
I had Monsieur Bouc's permission to see my sister. She lives in Marghera, just outside of Venice. She had a baby a few weeks ago. This was my first chance to meet my new nephew.
Monsieur Bouc gave you permission?
Yes, you can ask him.
Most assuredly, I will. What time did you leave and when did you return?
I left around 9:10 p.m. I was back by 10:45 p.m. When I got back, Hotaru was in a lot of pain. I gave him a back massage.
That would have been enough time to kill Monsieur Wadi and return to the train.
Alright, so he is a possible suspect.
May I see your knives?
Of course, they are here.
If you don't mind.
Help yourself. They are under the bar counter.
Yeah, but if he did it, he would make sure that no knife is missing. Because that would be a rookie mistake. Would it not?
None of these come close to the wounds on either body.
Oh, put the murder weapon here. Alright, so nothing else I can do over here? No. So he kind of puts the blame on Monsieur Maury. Who is... Where would he be? In the kitchen? I don't know, what time is it? My book is here. Let's ask him to... I had to check if that voucher guy was indeed able to leave the train.
You told Fauché he could go into Venice?
Marghera, actually. Not so far away. It was his only chance to see his sister. He's been working every train for weeks. There is never time to see the new baby.
Enough, Book. Your heart does you credit, but your common sense, it...
I know. But it's fine. Isn't it? He did come back.
Oh, it's fine, as you say. Unless he saw the baby, then killed someone else and returned to the train.
But that's monstrous.
Murder is always monstrous, my friend.
Yep. I don't think this book guy could imagine someone doing that because he's so nice himself. Here is our Mr. Mori, who is suspicious if you ask me. What does he have here? What's this? A Ferrano.
Saffron, it must be worth a small fortune.
Must be, look how much it is. Do you know how expensive this stuff is? Just have a little, because I need to pluck it out of a flower, and each flower has one of those little stringy things. Why can I not pass him?
Good evening, Monsieur Maury. May I have a moment of your time? I have a few questions to ask you.
Of course, as long as you don't mind if dinner is ruined.
I promise to be as brief as possible.
He is annoying. See his knives? I don't know, let's start here.
What did you do while we were stopped in Venice?
With Freya's help, I loaded fresh produce for the next part of our journey. Then, you may not believe this, but my job requires a lot of physical labor. My back suffers. Fortunately, Jean has become quite adept at separating my vertebrae.
He does need a lot of taking care of. Let's ask about his knives.
As you may know, I have solved the murder of Monsieur Ratchet.
That is a shame.
I beg your pardon?
The bastard sent my steak tartar back, telling John I was to burn it.
I will add it to the list of his crimes. One wound on Monsieur Ratchet's body was struck by a very sharp, thin-bladed knife. We haven't found it yet.
You think one of mine was used?
I'd like to have a look if you don't mind.
In that drawer.
Why would you tell him all this?
An impressive set of knives, but their blades are too wide to have been used for the crime.
And none is missing.
Tell me about your poker game the night of the murder.
We started around 11 p.m. When John finished his shift, we played until around 2 a.m. From what I remember, it's a bit vague.
You played without a break.
Actually, we did break once for a smoke.
That lines
John,
up.
Pierre, and I. When we stopped in Vinkovsky,
When was that?
around midnight.
So the girl wasn't with them. So she did maybe play the poker game with them, but just not take a smoke with them or take a break. So they are telling the same story at least. Or they are... Why can I still speak with him? Do I need to come back to you? Because you lied about something? Probably. Alright, so let's find our girlie. Is she still in storage? into this room. Don't know why. Can I look around? Also need to find one more mustache. What's this?
The box is secured by some sort of locking mechanism. The design is formed by 3 commas. What is the word in Japanese? Tamoe. And it's obviously missing a piece.
Right, so I need to find that.
The box is secured.
Bip.
Tamoe. But the design. Tamoe. And it's obviously missing a piece.
Don't know what I did. I wanted to skip it and I pressed it a bunch of times so you kept repeating it. Oops. So this is where the staff sleeps, but why was that other guy here earlier? That detective guy. Oh, she's right here reading a book or something.
Good
Coffee.
evening, Mademoiselle Nielsen. May I talk to you for a moment?
Of course, Mr. Poirot. I'm not going to bed right away.
She's friendly to me, maybe too friendly.
Can you tell me your movements while we were stopped in Venice?
That'll be easy. I didn't move much at all. Let's see. I helped Hataru load all of the food crates aboard the train. Hataru had everything he needed, but I realized they forgot half of my order. I spent over an hour on the phone with the supplier without success. I had to change the dessert menu for tomorrow.
But didn't that other guy say that Hotaru did that on his own? Or does that mean that she did leave for that call? And also, if she says it's easy, why does she need to think about it?
Dr. Constantine found a stab wound on Ratchet's body
She's
that
telling
was
everybody.
caused by a much thinner and sharper blade than the others.
Possibly a chef's knife?
My thought precisely.
And you'd like to see my knives?
If you wouldn't mind.
I would gladly show you if I had any, but I don't. I use the regular kitchen knives. You may search if you don't believe me.
I see.
All the knives the staff use are in the kitchen or in the lounge, except...
Except
Hotaru prefers to use his own.
So he did lie
Monsieur
to me.
Mori doesn't use the kitchen knives.
Not usually. I know he keeps a set of traditional Japanese knives in a box in his room. He doesn't let anyone else use them. Although now that I think of it, he has been using the kitchen knives lately.
Suspicious. So I need to open that box to see if the knife is missing.
Can you tell me exactly about your poker game the night of the murder?
We started around 11 p.m. In Vinkovsky, we took a short break. Hotaru and Pierre went outside to smoke. Oh, and Hotaru got sick around a few minutes past 1 a.m. 1:10 a.m. maybe? He spent about 15 minutes in the bathroom, but he didn't want to quit on a losing streak.
Did his luck improve?
No, so we played to around 2 a.m. He lost every hand.
Alright, why would I need to know
I've
that?
talked to everyone, but some elements of the testimonies do not seem to correspond. I need to recheck a few things.
You do? I want to take a look around if there's another mustache here. Oh, there is! That's so funny, because I was
You
thinking,
can never have too many
if
of
there
these.
isn't, then I have to go back and check the other places. But now I don't anymore. So, I have a new note, but I also want to open that box. Do I need to do the note first? Train staff alibis for the murder. Select 2 elements that give the staff an alibi for the time of the murder. Mrs. Nielsen does not smoke. Vomited. Was not much in the hallway from 12:45 to 1:15. An alibi for the time of the murder. I don't understand this one because I would say these two, but that wouldn't give them an alibi. This maybe? So that's one. Did not leave the train, so she was alone. Yes. Maybe these two?
Think, Poirot. That is not a good answer.
So no. Why these two? I'm confused. boarded the train at 12:55 when Pierre Michel was not watching the corridor. So how? This is not an alibi. This is the opposite. So, do they mean that they don't have an alibi? But this sentence is wrong then. What about these two? Miss Mori boarded the train at 1:10 when Pierre Michel was not watching. See, this means that they don't have an alibi, so that's the opposite of what this says. Confusing.
Any of the three staff members had the opportunity to kill Ratchet when Monsieur Michel wasn't watching the hallway. I'm right again. That happens to me a lot.
Maybe I'm just too tired. I don't know. Something's not quite right with Miss Nielsen's testimony. I agree with that. Need to check the knives that Miss Mori keeps in his room. Yes, something is wrong with her story. I need to confront her. Oh, well, let's do that. She's right here. The alibi.
Remind me of what you did when the train stopped in Venice.
No problem. I helped Hotaru load all of the food crates aboard the train. Hotaru had everything he needed, but I realized they forgot half of my order. I spent over an hour on the phone with the supplier, without success. I had to change the dessert menu for tomorrow.
Yep, knew it. So, which is a lie? What about the first one? Because they said Hotaru was doing it on his own.
Mademoiselle, I believe you're hiding the truth from me.
What makes you say that?
Who said that? Was it Foucher? Or Mr. Michel? Who said that? Let me think. Mr. Michel?
Michel saw Monsieur Mori carrying the crates of food alone. You weren't on the platform.
I did help Hotaru.
The entire time? He carried so many crates, his back was sore.
That's true.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm guilty. I did leave him before we were finished. But I had to. There was no saffron he needed for a recipe. I volunteered to go into Venice and get him some. The Rialto market would be open late because of the carnival. He gave me money. I knew we weren't supposed to leave the train, but I only wanted to help. Mr. Mori can confirm this. Ask him. I saved dinner.
So that's why I could look at that. She did get that.
Oh, on behalf of my palate, I thank you.
On my palate.
How long were you gone?
I left at 9:10 p.m. and was back with the saffron around 11. That's when I called my supplier for the items I was missing.
Miss Nielsen had almost 2 hours to buy the saffron,
That's a long
find
time.
a costume, kill Monsieur Wadi, elude Detective Locke, and make it back to the train for that phone call. Yes, it's possible that was enough time.
I think so too.
Thank you, Mademoiselle Nielsen. That is all for now.
Sorry again, Mr. Poirot. I hope you enjoy tonight's dessert.
Because that will make it all alright. Not that you're a murderer. As long as you give me a dessert, I will forgive you. Do I need to open that thing already or not? Maybe. Told me that Mr. Norman never uses kitchen knives and keeps his personal Japanese knives in the crew's quarters, room 302. I need to check them. Alright, but I didn't find anything. Oh, it's this box. But this is a Japanese puzzle box. I never understand them. You have to shift the panels in a way to make it open up. To open this puzzle box, you have to shift the panels until you make the images on each side visible. This doesn't sound that hard, and it isn't, but you can't move all the panels at once because other ones might be blocking it. So keep going until you see all the flowers and it will open. Did it finally!
An object that looks like a broken comma. It must be part of something else.
Yeah, Poirot, what do you think? Come on, you know this. Needs to go here. I don't don't know what I did, I just turned it. Oh, it's a suitcase, now I see it. But there's not one missing.
Sushi knives, razor sharp.
Did he not say a thin blade? Maybe this one?
Colteria Venezia.
It's a new one, so he did buy one there. I'll check them all, but I think that's the one I need.
Sushi knives, razor sharp.
Yes, he replaced it. See, these are all Japanese, except for that one.
Sushi knives.
It just says the same thing. I'll check this one. Just in case. So he bought a new knife in Venice. That is suspicious. What do you think about it, Poirot? Found a box in Mr. Moore's quarters. Its size and shape suggests it's a knife case. He told me about the kitchen knives but neglected to mention these. That's it? Alright, I guess we have to confront him. Let's do that. What's this? A feather.
A black feather. That reminds me of something.
Yep, the costume. Did I walk over that? Didn't see that before. Let's go speak to Mr. Mori. And also that Mrs. Nielsen knows he has his own set of knives, so she could have also done that. Have you been to Venice?
I'm sorry, Monsieur Mori, but haven't you forgotten something? You haven't told me about the knives hidden in your room.
Ha! Yes, indeed. I forgot to tell you about those.
Yeah,
They are
right.
my personal knives. I only use these knives. There are none better. I bought them all in Japan. No one is allowed to touch them except me.
Lie. Bought them all in Japan, he says. This one.
I'm afraid you are better at sushi than lying.
What? What do you mean?
This one was bought in Venice.
One of the knives has an inscription, Coltelleria Venezia. Did you happen to go shopping tonight, monsieur?
Damn you, Poirot.
Damn you.
Very well. One of my sushi knives has been missing since the night of the murder. I thought you were going to believe I killed Ratchet. He
Maybe.
routinely sent back my dishes to be ruined. Why does God give rich people the money to afford the best cuisine, but not the palate to appreciate it? I panic. I know a very good store in Venice. I went to buy a knife to replace the one that had gone missing. So, I wouldn't be accused. I assure you that I had nothing to do with any murders.
I would have an easier time believing you, monsieur, if you put that knife down.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
What time did you leave on your little shopping trip?
I left around 9:30 p.m. I was back a little after 11:15 p.m.
Time enough to stab Monsieur Waddy and return. Very well, Monsieur Mori. That's all for now. If I have another question...
I'll be right here, cooking.
Still, he hasn't put down the knife. Cutting up his peppers. Is that cooking, by the way? That's all he's doing. What's the rest of the food? New note? Alibis in Venice. Who doesn't have an alibi for the murder? She does. I think none of them do. That's right.
That was easy.
It was a bit of a guess, though. I must report to Detective Locke what I have discovered. Let's do that. Tell her who appears to be remaining suspects. Because she needed to call her supervisor. Are we gonna become her again? And also, I don't know where she is. Which one is her compartment? Must be second class. Last. Let's make a bit of haste if Poirot wants to. He doesn't really seem to want to. He's playing beautifully piano, by the way. Could still be a killer though, but at least he does that. 2 of 5 don't need to be there anymore. That's where Mrs. Andrenier is. these. This is my room. Alright, so I can't enter one of these doors, so she's not here. So she must be over here somewhere. Oops. 105? Yes.
What have you been doing, Poirot? I am completely in the dark.
I will shine some light on the situation, my friend. I have 3 new suspects who could have killed Ratchet and Monsieur Wadi. Miss Nielsen, Monsieur Fauché, and Monsieur Maury. They all had periods of time during both murders to commit the deed, and their alibis are weak. A visit to family, and not 1, but 2 shopping trips.
But all are my employees.
They are.
Alas, yes, my dear book. But we have no proof against any of them. None of the 3 appears to have any motive whatsoever.
But this is a tragedy.
Do not give up hope. We will catch this murderer. There is still one place that may hold the evidence we need.
Do tell.
Geneva.
Exact.
Oh.
Do not give up hope. Well, that's easy for you to say. But what if it's Freya? What becomes of dessert? If it's Sotaru, who will cook?
Me?
Me? And the worst, if it's Jean, who will serve the drinks?
I've been checking up on the Banque du Lac. I had to confirm my identity for Interpol, so they contacted my captain at the Berkshire Police.
I suspect he was not pleased.
That my vacation was actually an unofficial investigation? I'll say.
I would be happy to speak to him on your behalf.
Thank you, but he'll get over it. It's a chance to close the books on the Armstrong kidnapping. He stopped yelling, asked for a report, then granted me an extra week.
That's nice of him.
Excellent. What did you learn from Interpol about the Banque du Lac?
It's had a bad reputation for over a century. Customers have included the mafia, Nazis, corporate swindlers of every description, even heads of state.
It is true, this. It is the worst kept secret in banking. They take advantage of the bank's strict policy of protecting the anonymity of its clients. This is in defiance of many laws from multiple countries, including Switzerland itself.
How
Of
do you
course,
know this?
I have never taken advantage of such a corrupt system.
That goes without saying, my friend.
There are ongoing investigations, subpoenas, court orders. The bank will eventually have to comply, or its assets may be seized. But until then, it still thrives, thanks to its wealthy and powerful clients.
It sounds perfect for the late Monsieur Ratchet. Do you have any ideas?
The serial numbers from some of the bills match those from the Armstrong kidnapping. We agreed in Venice that the bulk of the money must still be physically in the bank's vault.
I concur, Detective Locke. Exemplary work. So, our next task is clear.
Find the money.
We need to get into Ratchet's safety deposit box.
There will be codes, passwords.
And Monsieur Wadi would, of course, have known them all. The bag of money he carried is proof of that.
We'll need to find information about Ratchet's box in Wadi's office at the bank.
Most assuredly, but remember the secrecy involved. I doubt his office will contain all we need. Where else must we dig?
His own. You already said that, Poirot. Where can I find information on Ratchet's safety deposit box? You said Mr. Wadi's apartment in the previous chapter. Ask
That's
Mr.
the right
McQueen.
answer.
Why would I do that?
Mr. Wadi couldn't keep all of his secrets at the bank. Hopefully we'll find something in his apartment. We already have his address thanks to his passport, and his keys we retrieved from his body.
The train stops in
that's true.
Lausanne at 8 a.m. But that's far from Geneva. I can delay the departure until 11 a.m. No later. The police are expecting us in Paris by the end of the afternoon at the latest. They won't tolerate any delay.
The bank doesn't open until 9. I can see only one way that gives us a chance to be on time.
What is it? Boat taxi. Let's go to Geneva. Wouldn't taxi be faster? I don't know.
Let's take a taxi. I checked a map. It should take us less than an hour to get to Geneva from Lausanne, which leaves us just enough time to access that safety deposit box. We have no choice if we want to be back to the train by 11 a.m.
How to set your apartment and the office efficiently. I just wanted to say that Poirot just did, with his mustache. That is the way Agatha wrote it, I believe. Together or separately? Separately?
The best thing is to separate. One of us searches his apartment, the other searches his office. To access the safety deposit box, we need to find the key, the box number, and the passcode.
Suppose you find all this. How do you plan to get into the vault?
Impersonating Ratchet is more fun. Should we do that?
We are going to use the bank's anonymity policy to our advantage.
And the quickest way is for you to impersonate Ratchet.
I would rather impersonate Jack the Ripper, but in the interest of justice, I will
This is
do
what I mean
We
when he
need
does.
to find the account number.
Along with everything else.
I will say I want access to the vault. They don't ask for papers or even names. The vault information is enough.
I'm not hearing any of this. I run a train company. I don't rob banks.
Perfect. Let's recap the plan.
Perfect. Just ignoring him completely. It's so funny, and that book is only wondering about who will serve the drinks and who will make dinner when, you know, it's a killer. Of course you want to catch him or her. Put the steps of the plan in the right order. Find information about the safe, go to Geneva, meet up the bank, search the office and pretend to be Ratchet. So, go to Geneva? Or maybe find information first. Meet up at the bank. That is later. And pretend to be Ratchet is earlier. Search the deposit box. Separate. Like this?
Think, Poirot. That is not a good answer.
So what is wrong? So this needs to be sooner. It has to be. Meet up at the bank. Or maybe find information at the apartment. Meet up at the bank. Pretend to be rich like this? Yes, finally.
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot.
You were right a lot
To
of
sum up,
times.
we're going by taxi to Geneva. Then we'll split up. You're going to search Mr. Waddy's apartment. I'll search the office at the bank. When we have all the information we need, you pretend to be Ratchet, and we can finally find out what Ratchet is keeping hidden in his safety deposit box.
It sounds impossible.
Possible.
Not for Detective Joanna Locke and Hercule Poirot.
We should get some rest.
You are right, Detective. We face our greatest challenge tomorrow. Together.
Finish chapter 10. Thank you for watching. Curious what happens next? Subscribe to my page so you don't miss anything.